What did from past financial collapses? Empires and governments have always believed that their money was the most reliable in the world. Every government claims its promises will last for generations, that its rules, systems, and institutions will stand forever. But history shows us something very different, and it reminds us again and again. No system is as strong or as trustworthy as we think it is. From Rome to France, from Byzantium to Lebanon, from Asia to America, millions of people woke up one morning and realized that the system they trusted yesterday had collapsed today. A lifetime of savings turned into dust overnight. Or worse, it was locked behind the closed doors of failing banks. Collapse is not the exception in history. It is the rule. And the real question is not, when will it happen? The real question is, will you be ready when it happens? We think money is a real asset. We think bank accounts are a safe haven. We treat government promises as guarantees. But in reality, money is not a stone. It is not a metal, not even the paper it's printed on. Money is simply trust. And trust, as history shows again and again, can disappear in a single night. That is why history is not only ruthless, it is also incredibly educational. Every collapse has taught us the same truth. Real wealth is not in paper, not in banks, and not in government promises. Real wealth is what cannot be taken away from you when the system falls apart. What should we learn from the fall of Byzantium? As the Roman monetary system collapsed, a new coin was created to replace the denarius, the gold solidus. For centuries, it became the most trusted currency in the world. The respect the US dollar holds globally today, the solidus held in the Mediterranean world back then. But then what happened? Emperors couldn't cover their expenses. Just like the denarius, the solidus began to lose its purity. Gold content quietly decreased. The currency was being hollowed out from the inside. Every new emperor thought, no one will notice. Ordinary people didn't notice at first, but trade noticed. Merchants noticed. The economy noticed. And once trust breaks, everything else unravels like a loose thread. A currency once trusted by the entire world suddenly became worthless. Who benefited from this? Those who held real physical gold. Who suffered? Those who trusted the state without question. The Black Death catastrophe or historic opportunity? In the mid-14th century, half the population of Europe died. More than half fled the cities. Towns and markets became empty. The economy collapsed. Yes, it was a massive tragedy, but it also triggered one of the largest wealth transfers in human history. Why? Because labor suddenly became extremely valuable. The fewer the workers, the more valuable each worker became. Those who had capital, silver, gold, or even cash bought land from desperate people for almost nothing. Much of today's vast European estates started as cheap, abandoned land during this time. We saw the same pattern during the COVID pandemic. Those with savings bought assets that crashed in price. Those without money fell deeper into poverty. Crises do not equalize people. Crises divide. Crises lift the prepared upward and drag the unprepared downward. Florence's giant banks sank like the Titanic. In the 1,340 seconds, Florence was Europe's financial heart. Banks like Bardi and Peruzzi were lending to kings. They were seen as so powerful that people said, these banks will never fail. And then, England's King Edward III refused to repay his loans. Those giant banks collapsed one after another like dominoes. It sounds ancient, but how is it different from the 2008 global financial crisis? From Lehman Brothers collapsing? From the banks in Lebanon refusing to return people's money? There is no difference. Only the dates, names, and scenery change. Every institution people believe will never fail, eventually fails. And the ones who suffer most are always the ordinary people who trusted them. Money collapses, land doesn't. During the American Civil War, the South printed graybacks and the North printed greenbacks. They printed endlessly. Machines ran day and night, and the value of money collapsed. A soldier's salary lost its value before he could even spend it. There were days when he couldn't even buy a single loaf of bread with his pay. Who survived those times? Those who owned land? Those who held gold? Those who had food? People with real assets preserved their wealth, while those holding paper lost everything. Idealism collapsed the moment it met money. French revolutionaries created a new currency, the assignat. It was supposedly backed by church lands. But then, just like every government before them, They couldn't resist printing more. The money supply exploded. Soon, nobody wanted it. Even bakers said, "Don't bring me paper, bring silver." Ideals collapsed the moment money lost trust. Even a revolution cannot buy bread with worthless money. Debt becomes poison when it's in someone else's currency. In 1997, the Thai baht collapsed. Dollar-denominated debts instantly doubled. This triggered a chain reaction across Indonesia, Korea, Malaysia, and beyond. Savings evaporated. Unemployment skyrocketed. Homes were sold in desperation. Millions became poor overnight, while those holding assets or foreign currency doubled their wealth. The lesson? If you must borrow, borrow in your own currency. Never rely on someone else's money. How did modern banks lock their doors? Between 2019 and 2021, banks in Lebanon closed their doors overnight. Deposits were frozen. People couldn't withdraw their own money. The Lebanese pound lost more than 90% of its value. A lifetime of savings vanished in one morning. Who stayed standing? Those with accounts abroad, those who kept gold at home, those with real assets, those who didn't keep their wealth inside the system. The fundamental truth: the money in the bank is not yours. It's a promise the bank makes to you. And in a crisis, they take that promise back without hesitation. So how do we protect ourselves? History does not give us a single formula because every collapse works differently. But there is a pattern: real assets like gold, liquidity having cash reserves, staying debt-free, or using smart, safe, debt-free skills that produce value, not trusting governments or banks blindly, diversifying assets, turning panic into opportunity. In every crisis, the winners were the same: those who were prepared, those with liquidity, those who held real assets, those who could produce value. A farmer, a baker, a craftsman, none of these collapse during crises because money collapses, but human needs never collapse. People continue needing food, shelter, heat, repairs. A person who can produce value survives no matter what their currency does. History always shows the same pattern. Every crisis is a transfer, from the trusting to the cautious, from the unprepared to the prepared, from paper holders to value creators, from passive watchers to active decision makers. The events may differ, but the lessons are identical. And if you ignore them, history will crush you. In the end, the choice is yours. When everything collapses again one day, will you be left holding worthless paper, or will you be holding real value? If this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to subscribe. History holds the answers, and on this channel, I'll keep showing you where to find them.